you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show from the Chris Voss Show studios in Chris Vosslandia. Fucking stupid shit I make up in the ramble. Thanks for coming on the show. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly appreciate you guys being here, because without you, we'd just be talking to, our guests, and we'd just be sitting around going, it'd be great if someone else would listen to this. For 16 years, we've been bringing the Chris Voss Show, over 2,200 episodes. If you haven't listened to every damn one of them, go back and listen to them. Actually, don't listen to the early stuff. It's kind of shitty. But go listen to them for fun anyway. You can see how much we've progressed. As always, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places. Today we have a returning guest. We had him on a few months ago, and he's bringing us the latest breaking news and updates based on fires and insurance in California and Florida and all the crazy stuff that's going on in our environment. The world is just on fire. And that's just from the Taco Bell buffet I had last night. That's a whole different story. Today, we have an amazing young man joining us on the show. We're going to be talking to Robert Feldman. He is a specialist in insurance and fire zone and hard-to-place risks. I should have put my first 7 marriages with him. He's an insurance professional with over 25 years of experience. They all went bad. And he's going to be talking to us about what his company, Wow's Insurance Services, that he co-founded, is delivering insurance solutions for homeowners who struggle to secure fire insurance in California, and I think they'll be eventually expanding to other parts of high-risk states. Due to his expertise, Robert has been a sought-after speaker in the California Association of Realtors, educating realtors about how to secure insurance for homes that are deemed uninsurable, which is my shack, my band down by the river that I live in. Feldman serves on numerous task forces, working with senior leadership for many insurance carriers to solve the state's current insurance crises. Welcome to the show. How are you, Robert?
Good. How you doing, sir?
I am doing excellent. Can you insure my van down by the river?
Yeah, it depends, man. How cool is the van? Anything's insurable, man. Anything's insurable, man. It's just, what's that old story? We can get it. That's the big thing that we always stamp out, man. There's a cost, obviously, but anything's insurable.
It's that A-Team van from the A-Team. Remember the A-Team TV show?
Okay. Now you're cool, Chris, but you're getting cooler by the moment, man. That's legendary.
The wheels are gone. It's just on bricks, man.
It's okay, man. It works. Hey, man, we'll get tires for that one back.
It rocks when the girlfriends come over. Anyway,
oh man.
Give us your .coms. Where can we find you on the internet?
All right. So obviously, thank you again, Robert Feldman, CEO, co-founder of Wow's Insurance. You can easily find us at Wow's, WOWS. Now, everyone forgets the S. WOWS insurance.com. And actually email me, robert@wowsinsurance.com. A lot of good information out. Had a great time with you last time, Chris. And I thank you so much for having us back.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, it's kind of upstates. And in the news is obviously everyone's seeing, all the fires are happening currently in Malibu and in Southern California. Yeah. Thank goodness we're probably on the backside of it now. I mean, obviously they're still fighting the fires. First and foremost, a shout out to Cal Fire, who has done an incredible job in this fire. I mean, I'm sorry to say there are still homes that went down, but we can flash back to the Woolsey fire that just happened, 5 years ago, basically. And I mean, those were where you had, well over 400 or 500 homes that went down. This time, same size kind of fire, same kind of thing. And as of right now, as of this morning, there were 7.
Oh, wow.
That is a big difference. That's unfortunate. One of the things that we're really, when I work with reinsurers and all the big reinsurers in London and different parts of the world, that's one of the biggest things I really talk about, again, is how incredibly better, I guess the same proper way, the great job that Cal Fire has done and gotten better, how the technology is getting better, and the ways we're defensible to help defend homes, basically.
Yeah. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there.
We are we are a wholesale, with this classified as a wholesaler, or what's called an MGA, Managing General Agency. Mm-hmm. We help build and bring insurance programs to the Western United States, primarily in California, but we'll be expanding soon. We work with Nevada. A shout out here for my Nevada guys. I love the Department of Insurance in Nevada. They are absolutely incredible. We really are working to try to fix the crisis of what's going on right now. I mean, obviously, this Malibu fire is a microcosm of the bigger problem. Fires happen in the Western United States, and how are we going to change? I said it in our last podcast, and nothing's changed. The insurance industry has been the definition of Einstein's theory of insanity, Chris. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and we're affecting change, and that's really the big thing.
I've been trying to put all the fires because Smokey the Bear used to talk to me through the TV and said it was only me who could prevent forest fires, but I just don't have enough time, man.
Exactly. I can say I got a size 12 shoe, but it doesn't work that great to stamp those fires out.
You can't be everywhere at once. I live with the guilt. I see a therapist daily. Thanks, Smokey the Bear, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'll tell you a side note, man, Chris, crazy back in the day on that Woolsey fire, that fire blew right through where I live. And I can, and I can guarantee you, I give you away, if you want to really upset a spouse, you can do what I did, basically, where I followed her.
Tell her she looks fat in that outfit?
No, I know better than that. I'm surrounded by girls, Chris. I don't go anywhere near that. I have 2 daughters that would smack me ruthlessly.
Oh.
No, but what you do is you start to follow them out, and then you turn around and basically fight fires for 3 days. That's a great way of upsetting a spouse. But again, these are the things. There's a lot of things that are changing. We're affecting change with the insurance policies. There's a lot of information we're getting out. Your show was incredible last time with us. Your listeners were great. We cannot thank you enough. We want to make sure we're giving you insurance updates, whether it's on the East Coast, West Coast. Every time there's a major catastrophe, we like to make sure we continue to be your kind of source for insurance, because we're really working with every major decision maker really in the insurance industry. That's what we do.
Now, you referenced a crisis, and I believe, isn't that not only the fire is a crisis, of course, but I think there's a crisis in a lot of insurers are pulling out of California.
Yes.
I believe Texas and Florida are impacted as well. Talk to us about this crisis and, how that's affecting consumers there. Really
what happens, and this is conceptually really the idea of insurance, is the problem that you run into insurance. If you look up the definition of insurance, by definition, it's a diversification of risk. So spread of risk, so that it allows you, an insurance company, to be actuarially sound. And so the problem is, a lot of insurance companies have gotten clustered up in different parts of the United States, where they end up with oversaturation of markets. And then when a catastrophe occurs, it knocks them out of the box. So what you're seeing is a little bit more of a spread of risk. This is one of those, we're all hands on deck. This is going to involve insurance companies, reinsurance companies, and consumers. It's going to require to involve government. Like in California, they have the California Fair Plan. In Florida, they have Citizens Insurance for the wind hail. These are all things that are going to really need to happen, and in combination, to make the changes that were necessary to make sure we can fix things going forward. Yeah,
California wildfires are growing in frequency and severity. We've seen this where, climate change is pretty much undeniable at this point.
Yeah,
California had its first hurricane or something, or like a couple years ago or a year ago, and you're just like, what?
It's crazy.
That's the whole reason I lived in California, is because and not in Florida. And since 2017, 11 million acres have burned, destroying nearly 50,000 structures, many of them homes. And then, you can't. My understanding is you can't sell a home or buy a home if you can't cover it by insurance.
Exactly.
Florida's having that problem massively.
It's crazy. And this is not just happening from a fire standpoint, not just in California, but it's starting to happen in Nevada. And it's happening in Washington and Oregon and Park City, Utah, and Aspen, Colorado, and all the things, all the areas that are considered fire zones. So this is as the United States goes, for all our there's different sections. There's different things that cause. So, for example, the Southeast is going to be wind, hail, and hurricanes. You have the Midwest with tornadoes. You have the West Coast that's now more and more fire. Yeah. These are all interesting challenges, but it still, Chris, comes down to the same thing. It's a reorganization or directional change. We can't, you have insurance companies that are trying to be cookie cutter. So they're trying to say that they have the same risk in California as they do in Florida. Those are completely different risks.
True.
And you really have to think of things differently and be able to involve and really make changes. I mean, God, some of the, one of the great things about us as a society is, as I would say, is that when things happen, there's crises happen, the evolution of how to make things and change. Like I think I mentioned it last time. There's an incredible shout out. I have no ties to them, Chris, but it's a great shout out. There's a great company called BurnBot. In California, it's really hard to do control burns, for fire.
Yeah.
This company created a machine. It looks like almost like a little mini tank.
Oh, really?
It goes over and does a control burn, but instead of having smoke come out and let it be out of control, the fire is internal into the side of this tank. Oh. And so it puts water to the smoke, which then fertilizes and revitalizes the ground. But at the same time, clearing everything. I mean, just the concepts of things that are coming out, Chris, are just incredible and are vital to fix the industries. Because to your point earlier, man, if you don't have insurance, guess what you don't have? You don't have a house. Yeah. If you don't have a house, how do you sell a house that can't get insurance?
You can't sell it. Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's the problem they're having a lot in Florida. I don't know about California. I haven't seen anything, but I imagine the same.
Oh, and Florida is terrible right now.
Yeah. You got a lot of people that they can't afford the premiums and they've just given up the insurance, which is
that's
sad
the
because
saddest.
This is a lot of people's, mortgage wealth and appreciation is about the only, avenue left to people unless they can get lucky on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, unless they didn't trade. What was that story where the guy traded something like 12 coins or something like that for pizza?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh my goodness, I saw that in the news. And my business partner Drew Engler just kind of was joking about that, going, "Man, I wish I would have bought the pizza for the guy."
Dude, I remember I bought Bitcoin below 600 and I think up to 600. I bought it. I sold it like 32,000.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't own enough, but to really make any sort of dent. But I spent it on cocaine and hookers, basically.
You sounded like Danny DeVito. Yeah. That's the greatest line with a great line.
It was like half an 8-ball and one hooker. Wasn't enough to buy two. Anyway, that's a joke. People don't write me. But
I watch ding 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 ding. Your emails are blowing up as you speak.
Yeah, the audience knows the callback jokes we always pull on the show. He did the hooker joke. Next up is the money joke or something. It's probably all list people are keeping. Which, let's see. It's Chris Voss Show bingo over 16 years. Which callback joke will he use today? Bingo.
Yep. Yeah. That, or it could be kind of an interesting drinking game, right?
Yeah,
as the little shots thing. Hey, put on the board. If Chris mentions the following things, everyone takes a shot.
I've heard my voice makes people want to drink, so that's usually my close friends and relatives.
I was gonna say I do that too. I swear, usually I get thrown out, Chris, because my having a deep voice, my voice echoes through walls, so no one's ever heard me be quiet.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with hookers and blow in hotel rooms in Vegas. Never mind. I just had to set that up because it's right there. So you guys are trying to really innovate the industry. Yep. You're trying to bring innovative products to both brokers and homeowners. Tell us how you help brokers, and then tell us how you help homeowners.
For example, in California right now, we're starting to bring in some of the big what's called reinsurance companies. They're the ones like the Munich Re. Munich Re is one of the largest reinsurance companies in the world, if they're not the largest. They're just massive. They have a program that's in California. And what we did, besides our own WOWS program, we're what's called wholesaling. So we have over 3,000 brokers appointed directly or indirectly through associations. And we're just bringing these things to market because the market didn't have access to it. Oh. So there's a lot of consumers being canceled and not knowing that this is a viable product for them. Yeah. So that's just one of many. We've launched 2 or 3 others, and continue to bring more. We actually have one. We kind of smile. We inked the deal, and we're kind of excited because we can almost pre-announce it right now. It's another one of the companies that we are now wholesaling for. As of tomorrow, we'll get the keys to the car, as they say. We get to take that car out for a ride. And so we're doing this. So there's 2 different parts of us. We have a wholesaling that works directly with brokers, and then we have a program that works with brokers and consumers. So the program is for the larger homes. We're very close to having that one done. That'll be the game changer, Chris. We're doing some really incredible things. Our WOWs program is going to, for consumers, is going to flip the script. It will be the first policy in the history of California that we can find that will be fully transferable from sellers to buyers.
Oh, wow.
So as a consumer, it'll just change how it works. We built it on a model that will reduce premium costs over time. These are all things that make sense from an actuarial standpoint for the insurance company, and it's also great for consumers.
Wow.
So a lot of great things.
Really great things amazing times coming up here.
Yep.
Amazing times.
We're battling now.
It's crazy. You know, we had I think it was the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, one of the journalists from one of the top tier news organizations, and he's been spending the last few years traveling around to smaller cities that were being impacted by climate change, fires and stuff like that. Only smaller locales that, they don't have the budgets, they don't have the tax base, they don't have the support to do it. And, many of these places, they're kind of small because everyone's moved away, and, it's kind of like places in, I think, Italy and France where they're trying to sell them now because so many people have moved away and there's so few people there, and they're just like, hey, come here. And so he's been documenting the rise of climate change and its effect on these smaller cities, and it's devastating.
Yes.
Any sort of loss is devastating. I don't mean to minimize anyone. If you have a luxury home in Cali, it's, that's it's a palatial home and they're expensive as hell. But just seeing he kind of talks about and records the economic effect and the fallout from, these middle America places that are doing it. And it's crazy. And in California, the cost of homes, I just saw something, I have to pull it up, but it showed that household debt and costs are going through the roof. And California, interesting, was like only number 4. Utah was like number 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. You could have got me on a bet on that one, right? You could have said which one's higher, Utah or California. I would have bet you on that one.
$100, damn it.
Yeah, you did.
Now I'm gonna have to pay for the hookers and blow out of my own pocket. It's a callback joke of the show today, ladies and gentlemen. But and of course that's household debt, so that's everything. But I imagine it's impactful when I read about people abandoning insurance, home insurance, because they can't afford it. Some of the people that I've read that are abandoning it are like senior citizens people.
Oh yeah. And I see that daily.
Yeah.
I almost see that daily.
Really?
I'm sorry, Chris. It's terrible because what's happening right now in the insurance market, we're even seeing the admitted carriers that are still in market are taking 40, 50, sometimes 100% rate increases.
Jesus.
And so you have I have one right now, and there are some interesting scenarios because there's a California law that was passed that basically puts a moratorium on cancellations if you're in zip code or zip code affected is what they classify as a state of emergency. And I was referred to by a realtor. Again, we're a wholesaler. We generally work with brokers, but we do a little bit of retail is what I would say. I do it as a way of almost keeping my finger on the pulse of knowing what's going on in the market. And a consumer was referred to me by a realtor, and I'm very protective of seniors, Chris. I just am. If I get a little sweet old lady that's been in her house for 40 years, 50 years, I'm really getting protective. And we had to have a really tough conversation because it's a conversation about the fact that she's on a fixed income. She has a house that's worth, millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. Okay. But it's what in real estate, I guess the realtors would say is, they're house poor, meaning that they have this incredible house, but they don't have the resources really as these rising costs occur to be able to help maintain it, or at the same time, pay for the insurance. So eventually it forces them out of their houses.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not a good one.
And usually those people, they have massive equity and net worth built up in their homes.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember reading about a guy in Florida, and they had $700,000 worth of free equity in their home, and they were paying. I think it was paid off. Like I think some of the times they're getting away with it is when the home's paid off. But still, if anything happens at home, it's kind of like having cash under your mattress. If your mattress catches fire, your house burns down, you just lost a lot of cash.
You lost all your money.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well, and in this example, actually, it's funny you say that. Her house is probably somewhere between 3 to 4 million in the Pacific Palisades. It's completely paid for.
Wow.
And and her premium is going to go from, probably, as scary as it sounds, 5,000 to 20 or 30,000 annually.
Tell me that's not a month, right?
Yeah, it's a year. Yeah, I mean, but for her though, that just jumped from a 5,000 to even 10,000 is going to make her potentially knock her out of the box.
Wow.
And so then, here she has lived in this house. I mean, it's a really sad story that I hear too often. Spouse has passed away. Her children were raised there. They've been in that house 30, 40, 50 years. And now they're having to think about selling their house and moving somewhere else because of it.
That's unfortunate.
Scary. But we're going to fix it, is the key thing, Chris. I mean, we go from sad to good. We're fixing this, and we're leading the charge, and we're really helping. I mean, because the market has gotten so crazy. There's a 400% variance to cost right now for insurance. So usually most insurance companies, whether it's admitted or not admitted, Chris, are very tight. They're really close. Years ago, the joke when I used to do, I would do barbecue lunch and learns. That's how I got in with all the realtors, right? Used to have a lot of fun doing competition barbecue stuff back in the day, and that's a whole conversation for a different day. All the barbecue things I do. And so what was interesting is I'd go in there because I would represent a couple of companies, and we're in this, like the joke, 50 cents apart from everybody else. Now we're seeing quotes where someone's at, you could have a quote ranging from 6,000 to 24,000.
Holy crap. That's just insane, man.
I mean, and it's just a matter of just how crazy it is. And we're just trying to get the word out because there's a lot of consumers right now that are getting stung. They're being told, one of the things we educate brokers all the time on this is stop telling people that the California Fair Plan is the only choice. Like Citizens, the only choice. There are other choices for different markets. We've been able to successfully bring in carriers on the West Coast to really support and really keep this thing moving, to keep the market alive. And we continue to do it every day. I mean, I was on every day now, as terrible as it sounds, because London's 8 hours in front of us on the West Coast. And so every day, usually at around, I go to the gym early, about 5:30, and usually either before or after the gym. Is the joke. I'm on with London at this point because they want updates on the fires, but also it's to give different programs. And as we keep bringing in, that's going to stabilize this market. And we're even down to one of them, Chris. We're helping re-engineer. We have a great company that we're working with that we wholesale that has a maximum coverage of $2 million. They want to write above their $2 million, so I brought an excess company together. We're piecing that together now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're doing a lot of creation, is what we're going for, which is what's needed, not just in California, not just in the Western United States, but this kind of concepts need to happen across the United States.
Yeah. I mean, the insurance companies, it needs to be fixed. So brokers can reach out to you to find out more.
Yep.
And then can homeowners contact you directly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. We'll get them to the right places. We work with brokers, so a lot of times we'll put them with brokers, or every time we'll put them with a broker. But we'll make sure we almost play, I hate to use the military term, we play Overwatch. So if a consumer reaches out to me, I'm going to want to watch to make sure this is getting done and it's getting done the way it needs to get done, and they're getting access to markets. And, because right now, this is why I am so thankful for being here. You have a huge audience, great audience, Chris. And what happens is every time we can get the word out into your show, and get it out to consumers, get rid of the myths. Yeah. Like I said earlier, stop thinking that there's only one choice or you have no choices. There are choices. Everyone has choices. 99.9%. Like in California or the Western United States, if you have an old wood shake roof, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to replace it. Wow. If you're in a fire, you're gonna have to replace it, but there's always a choice. And that's the thing we're trying to get out the word out.
Most definitely. There's always a choice, people.
Always a choice, man. Always a choice.
We need as many options as we can get. But, today insurance is so expensive. And then you've got car insurance that's also gone through the roof. So that pushes pressure on other people. And I'd just like to say here, as always, you can set up to gift your estate and your house in your will to the Chris Voss Show.
That's great. Yeah, just set it up to go automatically to Chris right there.
I used to read a lot of Southern Baptist newsletter from churches and stuff. They'd always do that. They'd be like, "Don't forget to put the church in your will."
Yeah, exactly. So, make sure you can leave all of it to us. Don't worry, we'll handle it for you.
There you go. Somebody make an advertisement on the Chris Voss Show for that. But you guys are really trying to do it. You guys are out educating. You're out sharing data, trying to let people know there's better options out there. You guys are really trying to innovate and educate the industry. Can people reach out to you from other states yet, other than California?
You know, it's funny. We're always going to help. We're always going to help and get people to the right spots. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, you can go to the Wows at wowsinsurance.com, or send me an email personally, Robert at Wows Insurance, WOWS insurance.com. You know, we're going to help people get to the right places. We work with brokers. We have that are appointed through us that are nationwide brokers, so we can easily get them to brokers to help. So I would say.
And then I'm noticing some things in your background on your screen there that you've got the policies transferables from seller to buyer. Yep. That's probably real important if you know.
That's that WOWS program we were talking about. So that's really kind of a really great thing. You know, actuarially sound. You know, Chris, it drives me crazy. The thing that made me crazy for the 25 years as a broker working with senior leadership of multiple companies is when I would get to an underwriter, I'd go, can we do something? This make this change. This should work actuarially. And they would go, we can't do it. And I'd go, why? And they would go, because this is the way we've always done it. And I'd go, I mean, if you want to send me off the deep end and see me go crazy and get the crazy people in my head going, just tell me it's the way we're doing this because this is the way we always done it.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it every time.
That's, you write about that in our books about entrepreneurism. Yeah. Why do we always do that? I don't know. They taught me to do it same way. But yeah, I think climate change and stuff that's impacting our world.
It has to make changes.
You know, and now if we just get insurance for stupid people, we could have something really going on with our society.
I don't know about that one though. I think there's a lot of people out there that agree. I don't know we can insure that. It's the joke.
You know what I need is if I ever get married, that's the joke. That's the reason we do the multiple marriage jokes. I've never been married. Yeah. You know what I need is marriage insurance. Divorce insurance.
Yeah, no, it's called a prenup, right? You have to have a good attorney to do that for you.
I don't know. They figured out a way to break those down. They need something better.
Yeah, exactly.
I've joked about divorce insurance for, I don't know, a couple decades now, where you should just start paying every month for the divorce. You know, it's a retainer fee for divorce. Basically, your first month of marriage, you start.
Exactly. You just make a monthly payment. I'm sure that would go over really big with your spouse at that point. Okay. What's this bill? What's this check going out for this amount for? Oh, it's for my divorce insurance.
It's for the retainer fee. It's cheaper to prepay them than post-pay them.
Pay it, yeah. Oh, God almighty, that'd be dangerous.
The average divorce or the average marriage only lasts 7 to 8 years now.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. And that's
I've been very lucky. Been lucky to be married for 25 years with it. I love them. I have a beautiful wife and great job and 2 daughters that like to tell me why I'm wrong. So it's a good thing.
That's why I've seen that with the pseudo stepdaughters I've had. They come in the room and they're like, "You gonna wear that tie with this?" And you're like, "You're 3. Shut up and go away." You're 3.
Yeah. Like, the problem is though, they probably still have better. They can pick out things better for them. We can. Yeah. It's just. I'm sorry.
It's just born to it's in their DNA that they're fashionable.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, but I'm a man, and it's been my DNA that I'm unfashionable. So
exactly.
Thereby,
I get told that all the time.
Yeah, I do. I mean, people just hand me money when I usually go to the store, and they're like, "Get some food, man. Get some food. Are you warm? You need some gloves?" And I'm like,
"That is so great."
You know,
that is so great.
Walking around in flip-flops and shorts like I do in Las Vegas up here in Utah, where it's freezing fucking cold, and people are like, "Do you need a card? You need some cardboard?"
Yeah, exactly. You'd hang out with my business partner, Joel Silver. He's a big guy, 6'6", 300 pounds. He believes there's no such thing as cold weather. He just wears a jacket and shorts.
Yeah. People ask me, they're like, "Aren't you freezing?" And I'm like, "Nah, I was in Nam. I got a plate in my head." They're like, "You were in Nam?" And I'm like, "I stole this from a movie." And they go, "You were in Nam? You seem too young." "I was in Nam, dude. What the fuck?" I killed 20 Vietnamese. Yeah. And they're like, "Really? Okay. All right. If you say you were in Nam, you're kind of young." And I was like, "I was there last week." Killed 20 Vietnamese. They're still looking for me. So anything more we need to talk about that maybe we haven't touched on that you want to tease out?
Really, the key thing I would tease out is we're like I mentioned earlier, we're excited for California and some of the Western United States. We're going to be bringing products to be able to write insurance. We're plugging holes. We're getting the keys to another insurance company tomorrow. So the great thing about, for the brokers out there that are listening, the insurance brokers that are listening, you can reach out to us to get appointed. For consumers that need help, we're here to help. We'll get you to the right spots, which is really, again, I hate to use the term overwatch, sound like a military thing, but really that's what we play a lot of for consumers, just to make sure they're getting the right spots.
You know, it's that police song, I'll be watching
you.
I remember listening to that for the first time. I'm like, that's
sounded a bit of stalkerish. Yeah, exactly.
It's PP Tom outside your window. Hey, what's going on, Sting? Can't get girls or something? You're the lead singer of the band. What the fuck? But, you know, it's kind of creepy. But, that's funny. Reducing costs, you know, you don't have any maximum
coverage.
Limits.
Maximum limits. So the WOWS program we're launching coming up, there's no maximum limits, so it's going to be able to take care of the hard-hit ones, I should say, the hardest hit ones are really the homes that are really over $4 million on rebuild. These are the large homes in California. The carriers have pulled out of that market. There's very few. Wow. That's why we stepped in. But what's great about the WOWS program is as we continue to launch, other ones we represent are already looking at potentially picking up some of the things we offer inside WOWS. So again, we're two different animals. We have our own program, but the greatest compliment about us doing our WOWS program is that we're accessing other companies to wholesale, to bring into brokers, to bring that's the little supply and demand thing. You got to have supply because there's sure as heck a lot of demand. So we're gonna continue to bring in additional options besides our program to really help consumers and to help the insurance brokers. We did a trade show a couple months back, and it was amazing how many brokers would approach us and that had zero access. So how do you sell insurance if you to a consumer if you don't have anything other than California Fair Plan? Mm-hmm. And so it was just a crazy thing. So continue to bring on, and we're going to keep fighting the fight.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this. I was reminded of the Maui Red Roof, the Miracle House. It was a 100-year-old home, and it survived. Yep. And I guess the thing about it was, number one, it had a metal roof, but it also had a special lack of vegetation along the drip line, whatever that means. And I think it had been renovated with the latest,
siding,
roofing, coating, whatever.
Yep.
And so it was designed to survive. I know that some of the new homes that are being built in Florida with that, is that something that's going to help?
Absolutely. If there's in the Western United States, Cal Fire is kind of leading the way on this. What's called lean, clean, and green. Anybody can go to calfire.org and see a whole thing on lean, clean, and green. Basically, obviously, Chris, I've been in every major fire in California. I have consumers that go down in every major fire, and so this is why we were able to launch WOWS and really be successful with our numbers, our actuarial numbers, is we can show what houses win and survive and which houses don't.
Wow.
And so what you will see coming up is a lot of the homes have what's called open exposed eaves. That's if you look at the edge of a house, as the roof goes over top or overhangs over the edge of the house, you'll look underneath. You can see open exposed wood. Those homes burn.
Yeah.
If a fire is anywhere near it, the embers catch underneath those eaves. If it goes under those eaves, that house is gone. Cal Fire can't stop it. So there's a lot of mitigation that's happening right now, and this is part of why I think Cal Fire is doing such a great job in this fire, in the Malibu fire right now. As horrific as it is, 4,000 acres, it's been growing, okay? But there's still, as of this morning, there were 7 homes burned, I think 8 or 9 damaged. That's versus 400 or 500 homes lost last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's not exactly the same, but what's happening is consumers are getting better about fire hardening in their house. They're doing the lean, clean, and green, as you mentioned, getting no vegetation within 5 feet of the house. Think about this.
Green,
yeah. Think about this though for a second. If you think about it, you have open exposed eaves, right? And then you have vegetation that can catch fire underneath those eaves.
Yeah.
So when it catches fire,
beautiful.
It goes straight up in the air, right? Straight up in the air and burns the eaves. It catches the fire of the eaves and burns the house down. There's a lot of common sense things that are occurring now that are making this to be able to get better.
That's the great thing about Vegas. You have everything xeriscaped, so there's not a lot of vegetation.
Yeah, that's like Arizona's the same way.
Yeah,
Arizona's the same way.
And the Las Vegas Fire Code and Fire Department, I mean, they're more powerful than the governor there ever since the MGM fire.
Yep.
It's insane what you go through. I mean, I remember we opened an office one time. It took us forever just to fucking get them to come by and do their job.
Yep.
Because they had so many things they had to look at, and they basically put me in those fire suits and said you have to wear this when you're in the office. And I was like, wow. You guys are really scarred from that MGM thing, aren't you? It was the 80s, people.
Yeah.
And we were probably all drinking and smoking back then, so that probably didn't help. But yeah, I'm looking at that 100-year-old wooden house, they called it the red roof.
Yep.
And to see that thing survived. And I think I saw some...
It's an example of what needs to happen.
Yeah. I think I saw that also in Florida. There was homes that survived the hurricane because they'd either been rebuilt or remodeled to do it. And they're just like standing there looking pristine and everything else is white. I
mean, a lot of the ones on the southeast, when they get into hurricane areas, the first level for flood is you don't have the houses are built so that everything's really second floor up. Like a garage is the first floor, and that the first floor or first area blows away. So that it doesn't blow the house away; it'll blow away these. It's a releasable with wind. The structures they're doing now are just incredible. We continue to get better and better with our technology of how to survive fires and windstorms and things. We just have to make sure we implement them.
Yeah, and then we just go ahead and pollute more then. Put more plastic in the ozone.
You know what's funny? Actually, a lot of the ones I've seen on the southeast for the wind ones are not. They're doing a lot of biodegradable things, which is great too.
Yeah. I had my water purifier break down. The RO filters and stuff all ran out at the same time. They do it in December. And so it just kicked off, and I use purified water everywhere. Yeah. And so I had to go buy some like water, like people do where they buy the giant things of plastic water. Yeah. And I bought like this whole rack for $5. And it was like, I don't know, like 40 bottles or something. And they're
like Costco has those all day.
Yeah. And I never buy them because I think, I don't know. I come from an age like you do, where it's like if you would have said in the 70s, 80s, hey, we're going to come up with a way to make people pay for water, you would have laughed out of your.
They'd have laughed you out of the room. I mean, if you and I were an investment, like we're starting up a company and we're going to bottle water, we would have had no investors. They would have laughed at us.
They would have put us in a home.
Yeah, exactly.
With a funny farm. But so I bought this big rack of plastic, and I've seen people, loaded carts going out with this purified water crap. Yep. God knows how much it's leaching plastic into the water. And so I sat there. I bought it, and it was like $5.86, I think, or something. And I'm like, holy crap, this is not only incredibly cheap, but what is the cost of, how many seals is it going to end up in or something, or whatever, and landfills and stuff. And so I was just aghast at it. And thankfully my filters came in, so we're back on business. But I'm like, there's people that do this all the time. It's, oh my God. Wow. So buy a $300 filtering system, guys. I have one. It's $300. I think the $350 I paid for mine, and it does RO. It even has the UV light now. Yep. So it does the reverse osmosis. You got to have that. Is there any insurance you can get for me? Because I live in Vegas, and every summer it feels like I'm about to burst into fire. Is there any fire insurance I can get for my ass?
Yeah, not for yourself. Obviously, if your house, you can always get them. Yeah, you bursting in flames, that could be a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
for, why and what the story is for that. But
stop soaking the clothes in gas, please. Anyway. It's Vegas. You do that to keep the tourists away from you.
Exactly. No one wants to get near you at that point.
Yeah. He smells bad. That's why I only bathe every 2 weeks. Anyway, Robert, thank you very much. Give us your final pitch out. Tell people how they can onboard in the .com.
Absolutely. Everyone out there is listening right now. Please realize, like we've mentioned, there's obviously options and choices. Things as bad as they are in the insurance community, we're getting better. I do think we're starting to turn the corners. If to really get it to be better. If you have any questions, we're always around. My name is Robert Feldman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wiles Insurance. You can find us at wilesinsurance.com.
And remember, only you can stop firefighters. I'm talking to you, Bob, in the audience. Knock it off. Not Robert Bob, but we always use Bob as the callback. We blame Everybody blames Bob for everything.
Everyone blames Bob. Where's Bob? It's What About Bob, right? There's a whole movie about What About Bob.
Yeah, that might have been where I stole that callback from. Anyway, thanks, Robert, for coming on the show. It's been fun to have you as well. And
look forward to future. Anytime you have any catastrophes or things going on, man, when it comes to the insurance world, let me know. I like to be your guy.
I'll call you for my next divorce. Thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it, Robert. Thanks very much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss one on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. I'm so sick of saying I'm just going to say it this way. Be good to each other. Stay safe or else I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.